Is Chancellor Palpatine or Emperor Palpatine really all that evil? You'll find out right after this. Hey everybody, I am Taylor from Beard vs. Geek, where I show you it is okay to be a man and a geek at the same time. Today we are back in the Star Wars universe, and I am defending Emperor Palpatine. Now, in order to judge the character of a person, one must first look at their past. So, here is Emperor Palpatine from the point of view of an average Imperial citizen. Emperor Palpatine first started off as a senator from Naboo, a senator who represented his people extremely well. So much so that Queen Amidala, who was the most famous queen of the Naboo, even stated that Senator Palpatine was an extremely good politician who represented the people of Naboo well and who had the people's best interest at heart. Emperor Palpatine was considered such a good politician and was so well loved due to representing the people and for voting on bills that benefited the average citizen. This was an extremely esteemed politician. When most people thought that all politicians were corrupt, including Obi-Wan Kenobi in Episode 2, other people would point to the then Chancellor Palpatine, saying that there was a politician who was not corrupt at all, and who had the people's best interests at heart.
A tragedy has occurred, which started right here with the taxation of trade routes, and has now engulfed our entire planet in the oppression of the Trade Federation.
Now, after Senator Palpatine became Chancellor Palpatine, after a vote of no confidence in Chancellor Valorum, Chancellor Palpatine is recorded to have postponing and re-postponing the vote to build a Republic army. You know, that was stated at the beginning of Star Wars Episode 2. Chancellor Palpatine understood the will of the people. The people did not want to have a giant galactic war, even though literally hundreds of thousands of star systems wanted to separate and form their own system of government, breaking the galaxy in two. The Chancellor relied on diplomatic negotiations and wanted to leave fighting a war as a last resort. He even recommended Jedi protection of one of the principal leaders who was saying that we should not go to war and who the people genuinely loved. That person? Senator Amidala. After it was clear that the Separatists made a pact to make a giant army to subjugate the Republic and impose their will upon the Republic, did the Chancellor agree to creating a clone army. A clone army which to the average citizen appeared out of nowhere and started to promptly kick ass all over the galaxy. During the Clone War, Chancellor Palpatine still issued for peace according to the average citizen, and did everything in his power to either win the war outright by defeating the leaders of the droid army, including Count Dooku and General Grievous, as well as petitioning for peace with the Separatists. Now, although Chancellor Palpatine was supposed to only serve 8 years, the Senate demanded that he serve more time. Yes, the Senate, before the Clone War, before the hundreds of thousands of planets wanted to secede and form their own government, the vast majority of the Senate demanded that this man continue to serve as Chancellor more time. And it was a good thing, because this was a man, according to the average person, got crap done when crap hit the fan. You understand me? When the Clone Wars happened, it was Chancellor Palpatine who called forth a clone army and who put in place experienced admirals and generals to command that army. So what happened with the Jedi? Now, near the end of the Clone War, Chancellor Palpatine claimed that he had discovered a plot by the Jedi to overthrow the Senate and to establish, quote-unquote, peace in the galaxy when the war was winding down. Now, even though the Jedi were claimed to be peacekeepers, as soon as the clone army developed, as in that day, the Jedi pronounced themselves as generals over the clone army. Not appointed by the Senate, but were appointed by themselves. Then, without provocation, according to the average citizen, the Jedi Order sent several of its members, including those on the High Council, to assassinate the Chancellor. And although the Chancellor was able to escape and to survive, he was left permanently scarred and disfigured.
I can't hold on any longer.
I am going to end this once and for all.
This proved to the average citizen that the Jedi were the ones that were usurping their power and who wanted to use their self-proclaimed power over the clone army to overthrow the Senate, who the Jedi claimed were corrupt.
What's happened?
The Chancellor's been elaborating on a plot by the Jedi to overthrow the Senate.
The remaining Jedi will be hunted down and defeated.
Once the Galactic Civil War, the Clone Wars, were finished in a single day as a directive by the Emperor to crush the Jedi Rebellion as well as to kill the heads of the separatist military faction and destroy the droid army in literally a single day. Chancellor Palpatine could do no wrong. This guy is the freaking boss. He brought peace to the galaxy, close to the point where the separatist military leaders were defeated and the Jedi Rebellion was crushed. Did the Chancellor declare with almost unanimous approval from the Republic Senate to reform the somewhat corrupt Senate into a galactic empire, thus simplifying government and allowing the people to have more direct access to their government and to not be spun around in all of this bureaucratic red tape. During that speech, the Emperor said, quote,
In order to ensure the security and continuing stability, the Republic will be reorganized into the first galactic empire for a safe and secure society.
And although there was a small handful of systems who thought that this was a bad idea, those systems broke off and turned into terrorist factions, including the system of Alderaan. See this video right here. Then the Emperor put in 2 massive government contracts to build Death Stars to secure the stability of the Galactic Empire, to provide security as well as to provide economic opportunities for a galaxy that was just ripped apart by a giant galactic civil war. Remember, there were hundreds of thousands of systems that wanted to break off from the Republic, and that most of them joined back together when the Empire was formed. Therefore, the system of government is a heck of a lot better than one that ended in a giant civil war, costing an insane amount of casualties as well as decimations of solar system's infrastructure. Therefore, these 2 military government projects allowed for billions of people to be employed, not just in the military opportunities, which had suddenly expanded since the clone army was considered obsolete now, and the Empire and the Emperor wanted a more stable peacekeeping force. Not military soldiers, peacekeepers. Have you ever noticed how the armor changed when the Empire became established? That's because white was meant to be intimidating and to provide hope and peace and security in the galaxy, whereas the clone troopers in their variety of colors was meant to blend in better with the environment and be combat soldiers, not peacekeepers. There's another great video about that I did not do, but I highly recommend. Link in the description box below. Now, let's step away from the canon. And yes, All of that was canon that I got from watching the entire freaking Star Wars series again. So you may or may not recognize this as actual Star Wars canon anymore now that Disney has bought the rights. Now, according to an EU book that came out, this guy right here, the Emperor foresaw a massive threat to the galaxy. A threat that would wipe out the entire galaxy. That means quadrillions of people, if not more, and more than hundreds of thousands of solar systems. We're talking a lot of people, more than we could possibly even fathom. This enemy came from another galaxy in ships that were organic in nature and that were the size of a small moon. Sound familiar? Therefore, the Emperor helped design and order the building of a couple of Death Stars. According to the expanded universe, Emperor Palpatine was not building the Death Stars to blow up random planets in his own galaxy, but rather these were built in order to help defeat an enemy that was stronger than anyone could possibly have guessed coming, and that saw the Star Wars galaxy as a tasty treat. Now, a lot of people will say, yeah, the Emperor's freaking evil. I mean, just look at Darth Vader. First off, the Emperor didn't go around killing random people. That was purely on Darth Vader. Remember how he force choked all of the people with years of military and tactical experience? The Emperor didn't do that. Instead, Darth Vader did. And the Emperor, foreseeing the random destructive capabilities of Darth Vader, he helped implanted him with a suit. A suit that was not exactly state-of-the-art and that had severe flaws. So if need be, the Emperor could possibly destroy Darth Vader if he got too much out of hand. Or anyone could destroy Darth Vader. I mean, come on, have you seen that control panel? That actually does stuff. And for a great video about that, link in the description box below. Now, what about Emperor Palpatine's hobbies? Let's use a clip from a previous episode. And as far as the Emperor goes, he still provided for his people. Yeah, of course he had another agenda. Everyone does. Every politician in the old Senate does. Every Jedi does. But his personal plans did not really hinder that of the progress of the entire galaxy. It was just a personal hobby, like our president golfing. The majority of the time, it doesn't affect the average citizen. And ultimately, the Empire's alternative goal is to have a new apprentice. Sound familiar? Let me know what you think about the Emperor. Is he good? Is he evil? Or is he more black and white, as I propose? Life isn't all about black and white, people. It's about shades of gray. And if you like that video, go ahead and subscribe. Great videos are coming out every week where I show you it is okay to be a man and a geek at the same time. You can also go ahead and check out these two videos right here for some more manly and geekiness. Because after all, if the women don't find you manly, they should at least find you geeky. And until next time, don't go shaving on me.